Hi! Hola! Annyeong! My name is Riley. If you're watching this and you open the video, you've read the title already, so you kind of know what this is about. But I feel like I should do a little introduction about who I am, what I'm gonna be doing on this channel, and so on and so on. I am Portuguese, I am 24. I moved to Korea in November this last year. Exactly a year ago was the day I booked my flight to come here. So I figured this would be the perfect day to finally start this channel. I've been talking about this for months now. I've been talking about this when I was still in Portugal. Should I take this off? Because this reflects on the light. Okay, now I don't see anything. I hope I'm focused. First of all, important detail about this channel is I am bilingual. My mother tongue is obviously Portuguese, but I have been speaking English for years now, and it is the language I use the most now, especially living abroad. So I could never choose to only speak one or the other on this channel. It makes no sense. The way I speak is by mixing the two languages a lot, and I do intend on having guests on this channel as well, so whether I'm going to be speaking in English or in Portuguese will also depend on whom I'm talking to, but I will always have subtitles for both languages in all my videos, so even if I'm speaking in English, you will have English subtitles and Portuguese subtitles at all moments, and hopefully, eventually, who knows, I'll try mixing some Korean in as well when I get to a level that I'm comfortable speaking in. I am taking Korean classes, but it is slow. Why am I here? My coming to Korea was interesting, funny, curious. I didn't know anything about Korea. I was not a fan of K-pop. I have never watched Korean dramas. I didn't have a lot of knowledge about the culture or anything. And then, as a lot of other people did, I saw Parasite when it came out in the movie theater, and I was completely obsessed. Like, there is no better word to describe the feeling I have still to this day for that movie than an obsession. I am a film major, as pretentious as that sounds. I studied cinema in my bachelor's, so I think a lot of my life decisions are based on movies. But yeah, I think that was the first little thing in my life about Korea ever. And besides me absolutely loving the style of the movie, I really liked the language, and I thought immediately that was a language I would love to learn. I think Korea sounds beautiful, but that was just a little sprinkle in my life about Korea. And then I started getting into Korea cinema as a whole, and I started like falling in love very deeply with the way that Korea cinema is created and the themes that it talks about, and visuals are very specific. The way suspense is created, the way thrillers especially are made is very, very interesting to me. And then my second passion would be cooking. And I was working in a restaurant in Portugal. I saw all of the different Netflix shows about cooking, and the episodes that I always loved the most were the ones about Korean food. And then I'm a vegan, and I have a big respect and interest in Buddhist traditions, so I started getting more and more interested in temple food, specifically the food cooked and eaten by Buddhist monks and nuns at the temples. And I don't really know, like suddenly, and especially during the pandemic, a lot of things were calling me to Korea. Like, okay, there were a lot of coincidences, calling me to Korea as well. I went to like an Asian supermarket that there is in Lisbon, and back then I didn't know any Korean. I didn't even know how to read Hangul, so I couldn't really distinguish the products in the supermarket, like from which ones were Korean or not. And that supermarket has stuff from Korea, from Japan, from China, from Thailand, from India, and I think more. But at least from those countries I am 100% sure they have it. So there's a lot of variety and they're all mixed. And I got to the checkout and the girl working there told me like, oh, I love everything that you're buying today. And I said, oh, okay, cool. Do you suggest any recipes? And she said, yeah, because I'm Korean. I literally just moved to Portugal this week and everything you're buying is Korean. I was like, is it? And that was a really big coincidence. Like every product there that called for me was Korean. I didn't know. That was not on purpose at all. That was like right in the beginning of me even thinking about Korea. And then yeah, like friends suggested me a TV show because we liked an actor that was in it. And suddenly it was a TV show about Korean immigrants living in Canada. And and then I discovered that like this is my first tattoo. It's an hibiscus flower, because that's been my favorite flower since I was a kid, and I used to always say I wanted to get a tattoo because I associate it with my favorite places in the world. Like the favorite places I have been fortunate enough to travel to that I loved all had hibiscus in them. And then I discovered that it's the national flower of Korea, and I've had it tattooed on me for years. And I don't know, there was just a lot. And I am big on like spirituality and witchy stuff and believing in signs. So I took them. I took the signs. I'm here. My best friend had been trying to show me BTS for years now. So in the pandemic I finally told her like, okay, I'm looking at a lot of things about Korea. I'm thinking I might want to live there. So like I feel like it's time for you to show me BTS now. And that became a huge part of my life. There's a whole topic to be talked about in a different video. Yeah, a lot of people on my Instagram assumed I moved here for K-pop because I do share BTS related stuff on my Instagram a lot, and I will not pretend like I am not a huge fangirl, but that was definitely not why I moved. I wouldn't say. But like nothing wrong if that's the reason why you moved to Korea. Like I know a lot of people who moved because they love K-pop, and that's great. K-pop is fun, K-pop is cool, and I'm glad it inspires people to come here. I also don't love that people assume everyone moves here because of that. And also because usually that assumption comes with a very biased opinion on people who do that. It's not a innocent assumption that's why you're here. It usually comes with the tone of voice of like, you moved there because of K-pop, right? And that I don't like. But basically I decided that I wanted to come to Korea. And I decided I wanted to come here after I finished my master's, which I was doing in Lisbon. And then a lot of things happened. And I can't believe I'm being this personal on YouTube, on my first video. But hey, at various points there were different plans to come here with different people, and people I was dating or friends, and I always thought I needed company to come to Korea with. I needed some emotional support to, you know, move to the other side of the world. So I was kind of always delaying it, and I was always waiting for other people to join me, or I was waiting to learn more of the language before coming here, or I was waiting to have a certain amount of money. And while all of that sounds very rational, and I'm not suggesting anyone to do this the same way that I did, but deep down I knew that that was not the way I wanted to do things, and that those were all excuses in my head to not just come. And as I said, I was working in a restaurant in Portugal, and my old boss at that restaurant, who is a friend, way more than a boss, he did kind of the same thing. He moved away from Portugal and he just did his thing, and it worked out great for him. So there was just one night we were cleaning the kitchen, 1 a.m. and he just turned to me and was like, hey, why don't you just move to Korea? Like, ever since I've known you, you've been talking about moving to Korea. Like, literally you talk about this every day. Like, this is something you clearly really want to do. Why don't you just go? And yeah, I started saying all of the excuses I had rationalized in my head about the money and about the language and about the plans, and maybe I should have a job ready for when I come here, blah blah. And he just turned to me and was like, you'll always have something though. Like, you can always make more money before going. You can always improve on the language. You can always do something more and more. And if you don't just do it, you always make new excuses. And I agreed. And I think I knew that already, but I kind of needed to hear that from an outside source. So that day, a year ago today, on the night from the 31st of March to the 1st of April 2022, I got home at 2 a.m. and I booked a flight here. And I booked a flight for 6 months later, for November. And I just figured I had 6 months to get everything else ready. And I did. I got a visa and I dealt with all of the paperwork that I needed for the visa, and I did learn a bit more Korean, and I did not get a job, and I did not get a lot of money saved, but I'm here. And I am so glad I did that. And yeah, living as an immigrant is hard, and I also want to show you guys that side. And I am a queer person, and I also want to address that a lot in this channel, and that is something to consider when you travel to a different country, when you move to a different country especially. And that was also something that I felt like lacked when I was trying to research about moving to Korea, was like some queer related content and about safety and about lifestyle here. And I want to show you guys that side as well. I want to show you what it is like to be vegan here, and I want to show you how hard it is to adapt to a totally different culture, but I also want to show you how exciting and how much learning you do adapting to a whole different culture, and how my journey is of working here. I started working here on my 3rd day in Korea. I started working in a restaurant, and again, that was a bit of a safe move for me. That was me trying to play it safe, and it was great. I made friends, I had connections, I had some stability for the first months I was adapting, and then I quit last month because I do want to work in video here, and I want to work with what inspired me to actually come here, that is cinema and video work and music videos, and work with people that I've admired for a few years now. And yeah, I'm really excited about what's gonna come next. I am really excited about showing you stuff that has happened in these 5 months already. And I know I'm rambling a lot. I know this video is just me talking my heart out, but honestly that's also what you can expect from this channel. I used to have a YouTube channel before. I am gonna link it below if you want to check that. Most videos are private, I need to be honest. I started that when I was in high school. Most content that I had there I don't identify with at all, and it was all very filtered, and it was all what I thought YouTubers needed to do. Like, I was trying to imitate like the American YouTubers I used to watch, and I I don't know. That's not what I consume on YouTube nowadays, and that's not what I want to create either. It is still a channel that I hold very near to my heart, and I'm so happy that I have all of those memories to look into so easily. I can just like open a little album, and instead of like photos, I have like actual videos with like such random moments of my life, and that is also a very cool part about doing this now, a few years later, on such an exciting chapter of my life. Yeah, I have a lot of ideas already. I don't want to spoil myself, and I do have a very big passion about politics. I was part of I am I am part of a political party back in Portugal, so you can expect a bit of a political view on all of these. Maybe I will keep rambling and do some video essays about stuff too. Yeah, I am not gonna make any promises about only talking about one topic, or even the language that I'm gonna speak, or how much I'm gonna be uploading. I am gonna do this very organically, and I am very excited, but I will be accepting suggestions from everyone. I will leave all the links down below, my Instagram, that's all. No, okay, it's not all. I will also, you know what, plug myself. I'll leave my portfolio down below and my professional Instagram. Yeah, I am right now in the process of trying to find video producing jobs here in Seoul. So, you know what, you never know who's watching this. So if you know any contacts, if you know anyone who's working in that here, hit me up. This is so chaotic, I love it. Oh yeah, people ask me if I was scared about moving here without a specific plan, and I would say yes and no. The thing is, my best case scenario is I'll find an amazing job here in my area and I'll start working in video production and I'll have the time of my life. I might even change for a working visa and stay here for longer and like have a great time. And the worst case scenario is if I don't, I'll keep working in more like random jobs and I will still learn a lot. I'm still learning how to live on my own in a foreign continent, and I am still learning a lot about Buddhism and food and culture, and that was always my goal. And then I'll go back to Portugal, which I love my country, and I'll go back whenever I need to. So yes, of course it's scary to be here without a plan, and unfortunately we live in a world where money is necessary and where I have moments that are very scary because money is running out and I need to pay rent here. But also that would happen in Portugal too. So being here without a plan is not the part that scares me at all. It's just being an adult is scary anywhere, honestly. Okay, I think I touched on everything I wanted to touch for this video and more. I know I've been rambling for a while now, but at least I think that shows you a little bit of my personality, and that was the whole point of this video as well. I'm very excited about what's gonna come out of here, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye. The next one will have a lot more Portuguese, by the way. But yeah.